as I always tell her, the only one who was hotter than the actress that played her in the film. Now, very exciting news, running for Congress in the great state of New Mexico, our old friend Valerie Plame, who has been covertly waiting on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Val. I love you. Actually, your announcement said that this is something you were not doing covertly anymore. You were actually
exactly.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. You can't do that behind the scenes. You actually have to get
I
out.
cannot get enough spy humor, Val. No, I mean, this is so exciting. So, you obviously did Sexy Liberal with us in Santa Fe, your beautiful
That's right.
home state, and I know it's interesting. You were obviously in the CIA. You weren't allowed to talk about politics. You weren't allowed to do stuff like that, and it is interesting how you've gotten to be such an outspoken voice in New Mexico and nationally.
Well, life is funny like that, isn't it? When people would ask me over the last years, well, you think you'll get into politics? Because I have been an activist. I speak out on things I care about deeply, whether it's so-called enhanced interrogation techniques or nuclear weapons or whatever. And I would just laugh at them because it's like, are you kidding me? I've had enough politics. I'm just going to stick to my knitting.
Yeah.
And
as they tell women to do.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. But this opportunity opened up quite unexpectedly. Ben Ray Lujan has held the seat for 10 years. He's decided to run for the Senate, and now it's an open seat, and it's, ta-da, my hometown. I mean, I've moved and lived all over the world, and there's no place else, honestly, that feels like home, like northern New Mexico.
Gorgeous.
And it is gorgeous. When I arrived here in 2007, having fled Washington, and literally the day after Scooter Libby was convicted, we were so warmly welcomed by the community, and I dove in ways I had never. I was moving every 2 years, since college, going for college.
Right.
And it was the first time I got to jump into a community, and I did in a big way. I sort of did anything that was asked of me, whether it was arts or education or
United Way.
Yeah, United. I did. That's a big deal for me. I love looking at what focus on age 0 to 5, pre-K and around there can do for later years. So I've done a lot, and then this opportunity kind of dropped from the sky, and my twins just left for college, and this is a new chapter. So
I know. That's how old I realized I was, because I went to your house for dinner, as you recall, and she does make a mean cobbler on top of being super smart and smooth, super hot. But your kids were like kids when I was there, so your kids are in college now. Okay.
They are. They're finishing up their freshman year, and it's like, gee, I've got nothing but time on my hands now. No, I mean, it's not quite like, but I'm going to plunge into this and work my tail off.
You're like, hey, maybe I'll go back to the CIA. Oh no, I can't do that now.
No,
okay,
no, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Republicans ruined that.
Yeah, but it's a huge, geographically huge district.
Yeah.
And very diverse, urban, rural.
Well, can I just say from experience, when you did the Sexy Liberal panel with us, people were freaking out. Like, you really are beloved there, and however long you've been there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, but...
And here's another fun fact. Michelle Lujan Griffith did the... yes, she did Sexy Liberal, and then she became governor. Nancy Pelosi did it with us in San Francisco and became speaker. I'm just saying, I feel like your chances are very good.
There's a pattern here. There might be a pattern.
Yeah.
So New Mexico has 3 congressional seats. Right now, the other 2 are held by women. Xochitl Torres-Small, who's awesome. Deb Haaland, first Native American representative. So I would love us to have 3 seats, all 3 seats held by women. I'm just saying.
It is so interesting, this particular timing for you running for Congress, when we appear to be on the precipice of war with Iran, when you spent your whole career, right, on a nuclear non-proliferation. And this is such a oddly terrifying time, isn't it, in terms of having a constitutional crisis and looking like we're heading toward unnecessary war. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I have to read the details, but I guess there was some incident in the Gulf this morning.
Yes, the incident is spelled John Bolton.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, people need to look up what the Gulf of Tonkin was. in Vietnam. I mean, I caution here. You know, I haven't read a lot. I just scanning the headlines this morning, having my coffee.
Yeah.
But we do know that John Bolton never saw a war he didn't want to jump into and take us with him. He won't go, but he'll just make sure everyone else does, and you know, use our resources toward that end. So that, let's just say, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Skeptical. You know, and you know, from 2 years ago, I was very much against withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal. I thought it wasn't a perfect deal, but it did keep them contained. It did what it did far more than what experts thought it would do. And we withdrew unilaterally, and now Iran is like, so why should we continue doing anything? The heck with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're going to begin to, we're not going to continue to export, as I think under the deal, their nuclear fuel. You know, there was a certain amount they were supposed to do each month and year, and they're like, no, not so much anymore. We're just going to keep it here.
I'm curious also about so many things in the news that remind me of you, but what does it feel like when you see the Attorney General of the United States sitting there using the word spying about what, you know, our you know, law enforcement and intelligence agencies, you know, when they're doing lawful surveillance?
Well, I find it deeply concerning. I am as you know, as a former intelligence professional, I really believe the people that are working in the FBI and the CIA, they're there as professionals. They're there as Americans. They're not there as Republicans or Democrats. And in the run-up to the 2016 election, and when supposedly this spying took place, I have to, you know, there are protocols in place, really high standards, which have to be met and exceeded to demonstrate. Listen, we have plausible, or I should say, real concern about people around the Trump campaign, perhaps undue foreign influence. We need to take a further look at this.
Yeah.
I realize I'm being rather vague here, but people were not, I don't believe that the professionals at the FBI were doing this just because they didn't like the looks of them.
Yeah.
It's an enormous bureaucracy, and while that can be infuriating in some ways, a bureaucracy does have in place rules and regulations, and a lot of people looking at what has to be done in order for a wiretapping warrant to go through, for instance. So Attorney General Barr, he is a lawyer, but I believe he's maybe a little too casual with his use of
I'll say.
terms here.
Well, I mean, how does, you know, Val, I know how just most, like, just lay people reacted, but as a lifelong intelligence professional, how did you react when you saw Trump in Helsinki saying, I believe Putin over our intelligence agencies, or him, you know, having a phone call with Putin where they're chuckling over the Russia hoax, right? You know,
horrifying. This is absolutely unprecedented, humiliating as well, that he believed Putin, much like W, I guess, who looked into his soulful eyes and saw the truth. He believed Putin over his intelligence agencies and chiefs. And then you saw that again. When was that? In January, when the various heads of the intelligence bodies were up on Capitol Hill, just doing a tour de horizon of what's going on in Iran, and he just, I think through Twitter, just raked them over the coals. How he's demeaning and denigrating.
It's dangerous. I often wonder if I'm yelling at my TV, what is Valerie Plame yelling at her TV? Like, for instance, when Trump pardoned Scooter Libby, did you have any feelings about that? Any thoughts?
How did you feel? But how did you feel about that?
Yeah.
It didn't look. And I really had very few feelings because it had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with Scooter Libby. It was all about sending a message to his cronies. You know, you take care of me, I'll take care of you. I mean, I didn't have an emotional reaction, really. It was clear what was going on.
That's because you're a trained spy. You're not trained. You're trained not to have feelings, Valerie.
I don't know. I've been through a lot. I got lots of feelings, and one of them is, of course, that I'm off on this new adventure. Running for Congress, and it's honestly, it's terrifying. Putting yourself out there again.
Well, exactly, because you're used to being, working obviously undercover. This must be a whole new sort of terrifying experience, although exciting,
a whole
huh?
new terrifying experience. But I mean, I've been through a lot. And the Bush administration, boy, they raked us over the coals. We were called liars and traitors. I was called a glorified secretary. That's what happens when you get in. But
and I can confirm you're not. You wouldn't even do any light typing for me when I was at your house.
I know. I know.
Even though I asked.
I said no way.
Yeah.
I have a good girlfriend who, loves me and will be supportive in every way she possibly can. But she also thinks I'm crazy for doing this. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And maybe she's right, but again, this is
good for you.
Oh,
no, good for you. This is now is the time. Speaking of typing, now is the time for every good woman to come to the aid of their country. That's what we used to have to do.
Right.
It's like it's a version of what.
I love that. Okay. I love that New Yorker cartoon. The cover right after the 2018 midterms, and the room is filled with sort of the Monopoly fat cat, and knocking at the door are all these women of color, and they're barging in through the door, and I hope we see more of that.
Yep.
We need to see Congress look more like the people they're representing.
Yeah, and it has been beautiful female, the women, starting from the Women's March to the, this beautiful blue wave we got. And it's only going to get bigger if you go to ValeriePlameForCongress.com and help my friend Valerie. One last question. When you get into Congress, because you will, because of the power of Sexy Liberal, serving with Liz Cheney, awkward? No?
Oh, yeah, we passed in the hall. Well, I just read today, so she's seriously considering running for Senate. Last time she tried to, secretly, I think, kneecap, who is his name, Enzi, the sitting senator.
She seems lovely.
They're longtime friends, the family friends anyway, and she did not have the courtesy at that point in time to say, Senator, longtime family friend, I'm thinking of running for your seat. She just sort of announced, and it threw him sideways.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not as awful as throwing your gay sister under the bus to get elected. But anyway, look at the time. Val, best of luck. Come on back on. I can't wait to see you in Congress. It's going to be fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on your show and get this thing rolling. So I appreciate it.
All right, come see us if you're in LA, okay?
I will indeed.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Val.
Right,
there she
care.
goes, Valerie Plame.
Yay!